Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, the Brian Craig Show podcast is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing, who will never sell you a roof you do not need. Online at laportaroofing.com. Okay, we're less than 2 weeks away from the re-election of Donald Trump. And all the polls have Trump winning. Every poll. He's leading in every battleground state. It's pretty much over for Kamala. And today, what they tried to do was get a false narrative going. And the people that are in the left, the deep state, it's really frightening, right? Mm-hmm. The deep state and the mainstream media are one and the same, right? The media is an arm of the deep state. And they are so out of touch with reality. They're trying to run a campaign using 8-track tapes in our modern digital world, okay? What they've tried to do is start this narrative with General Kelly that where General Kelly, they have this audio tape of General Kelly in an interview with the New York Times, right? And he says a lot of dumb things like Trump is Hitler-like and stuff on this tape, and Trump admires Hitler and read the speeches of Hitler and all this stuff. And they have this tape that's not meant for broadcast, right? It's just an interview with the New York Times and him. And they play this tape on CNN, and because it's a tape not meant for broadcast, they're trying to get this illusion going that it's some type of major leak and bombshell because it's an audio tape that wasn't meant for release. First of all, it's not a tape of Trump saying that. It's that idiot General Kelly saying the same garbage he's been saying for years that's been debunked. But where they're out of date and running a PR campaign using 8-track tapes, meaning really out of date from the 70s, is they're running a campaign like they control the media still, right? Like there's only our networks, a couple of newspapers, and some liberal monsters are running Twitter, like 4 years ago when they shut down the laptop. The American people, they can't sell a false narrative to us anymore because they don't control the media. Elon Musk bought Twitter, turned it into X, made it a free speech zone, and they can't get a false narrative going like they did 4 years ago, which they were successful in suppressing the laptop and promoting it as Russian disinformation, which is all lies.
Well, it's also a case of the boy who cried wolf. They have been screaming these lies and mistruths.
Yeah.
It even came out that Cassidy Hutchins, who made up the story about Trump lunging for the driver to go to the Capitol, that she was talking to Liz Cheney in emails and planning her whole testimony, that it was all fake, and that she even said privately that she liked Trump. So whatever they got on her or whatever they gave her, they got her to testify. It was all such baloney. They have made up more lies and more mistruths about this guy. You have to ask yourself, why are they so afraid of this guy? You know nothing they're saying is true. It's not true.
Everybody knows it's not
Everybody knows that. I see liberals on there quoting John Kelly. He is a disgruntled employee. That's all he is.
Fired employee.
You're right. He was fired.
By Trump.
See, Trump said nobody in the government ever gets fired. And he was probably the first guy that came along and actually fired people.
Pretty much.
Everybody in the government's incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
And Milley, he fired him because...
Well, no, he didn't fire Milley, unfortunately. He got the right out.
Oh, well, he criticizes Milley.
Yeah.
Because, well, Milley, the thing with the Bible, he then called China behind his back or whatever.
Yeah.
But also
Committed
with
treason.
Afghanistan, Trump talks about how Milley wanted to leave everything behind. All the planes, everything. And Trump said, we'll just fill them with gas and fly them home. And Milley wanted to leave everything there. Why? Because he's corrupt. He wanted to leave it there for China.
No, that's right.
So Trump got rid of these corrupt guys in the government, and now they know that when he's in, he's going to clean out this corruption. They're terrified of this guy.
Yeah, and
so this whole new narrative of Hitler is just so stupid.
This Hitler thing is so absurd. And, Now, I know you guys don't watch Fox and Friends because Fox and Friends is on when I'm on the air in the morning.
Of course.
So
we wouldn't dare.
So Fox, really, they just put this Fox and Friends show on. I suspect it's just filler. They got to have something on against me.
Exactly.
So they put up. So obviously I don't watch Fox and Friends either because I'm on the air at that time. But I saw this on X today, and this is why people hate Fox. Okay, they got Ducey on who hates Trump.
Absolutely hates Trump.
They have Lawrence Jones who's turned out to be all right. I like Lawrence Jones.
Yeah, he's all in with Trump.
Yeah, they got McEnany on who. She could end up back at the White House, McEnany.
She's still defending him. And
she could very well end up back. And then Brian Kilmeade, who is just, I think he's a strange dude. He's too into sports for a guy that's not an athlete. And he seems to be sweating all the time.
Yeah,
he's
weird.
And he's also, Brian Kilmeade is
he likes athletes a lot.
Yeah. And he's also obsessed with being on the air 24 hours a day. Yeah. He's got to be on nonstop. So anyway, he's sitting on the couch. It's Lawrence Jones, Ducey, McEnany, and Brian Kilmeade. And Brian Kilmeade, this is why we hate Fox, MAGA people, because they suck, okay? They're talking about this General Kelly made up BS of this Hitler stuff. And then listen to what Kilmeade says.
Well, first of all, tell everybody, what are they saying John Kelly said Trump said?
He studied Hitler's speeches.
Yeah, he kept them on his nightstand.
Yeah, so that
as
I
if
guess
he knows what he keeps on his nightstand.
Now, were they in English? Were they in German?
Yeah, Trump speaks German now.
And what I'd like to know is this: take some quotes from Trump rallies and speeches over the last 9 years. And show me the parts that are from Hitler's speeches.
Exactly. He said that he kept his speeches on his nightstand and studied them.
Kelly said that.
And then there was an article in
by the way, what's Kelly doing in Trump's bedroom?
Exactly. There was an article in The Atlantic, which I don't know if anybody reads, but people were talking about it on the news.
Nobody reads that.
And this guy in The Atlantic, this is their Hail Mary. Okay? They got 13 days.
The October surprise.
This whole Hitler narrative. So an article in The Atlantic, this guy whose last name is like Goldberg or something, he happens to be Jewish. He said that Trump literally is Hitler reincarnated. Mm-hmm. I mean, if that is not the dumbest thing you've heard or read, this is how desperate they've become because Mark Halperin said she is losing. She is ready to get destroyed. Yeah. And now she's coming out. So I just wanted to set up where this whole Hitler thing.
Next year in January, February, March, when the deportations start, watch all the Holocaust things. They're going to show you all the trains to Auschwitz. During the Holocaust,
these liberals are unbelievable.
They were deporting people from their own countries. Okay, that's not what I was going to be. Anyway, so
he's sending them home.
This is Fox today. Listen.
This happened over the last 24 hours. Arguably, the October surprise that John Kelly and General Mattis are authoring.
Yeah, so I heard this overnight. So this is The Atlantic. It's Jeffrey Goldberg. And here's the headlines from The Atlantic. Trump, I need the kind of generals that Hitler had. And you can see the subtitle there, the Republican nominees' preoccupation with dictators. And it goes on. When I saw this, first, they talk about a meeting with the Guillen family. The Guillen family tragically lost their sister, lost their daughter. She served our country honorably. And they characterize a meeting, one in which I was in. I was not in this December meeting they speak of, but a meeting with this family. And here's what the sister said about this story. Wow, I don't appreciate how you all are exploiting my sister's death for politics, hurtful, deceitful, the important changes she made for service members, and indeed she did. President Donald Trump did nothing but show respect to my family and Vanessa. I was in that July meeting. That was undoubtedly the case. But the reason my antennas went up last night when I saw the name Jeffrey Goldberg is because I was on a tarmac in September of 2020, and a story popped from him in The Atlantic, and it was the suckers and losers story we have all heard. Within hours, I was able to collect more than a dozen individuals, several who were firsthand sources saying that never happened. Zach Fuentes, who was an aide of John Kelly, came out and said that never happened. We found contemporaneous documents disputing the reporter who said Trump did not go to the cemetery, not because of a bad weather call. John Bolton's book disputes that. We found a contemporaneous document to dispute that. My point is, this is based on 4 anonymous sources, 2 weeks before an election, disputed by people on the record, and yet it led a CBS News broadcast. What a shame.
Did they include your portion? Did they include?
No, they never reached out to me. I was in that first meeting.
course not.
Never reached out to me. But I will say this quickly. Donald Trump, I have never seen him more downtrodden when the suckers and losers story came out. Stuff came out of about his finances, fake stories. He didn't care. He was devastated by that story. I remember him saying, what kind of monster would ever say words like that? Exactly. This is shameful reporting from The Atlantic, in my opinion.
Well, to the former president's point as well, he said, when asked about this, he goes, just think about this logically. He goes, I'm in a cemetery surrounded by generals. He goes, why would I say, he said, one of them would deck me in the face over something.
Exactly.
He goes, why would I say something? It just logically does not make sense to say that comment in the cemetery surrounded by generals.
Absolutely.
Now listen to this jerk.
I saw this coming. You know, I've said this for about a year.
Yeah, you did call this.
So I read H.R. McMaster's book. I thought that was going to be it. I find him unbelievably insightful and smart. I read his book. You know what he did as national security advisor? He spent the whole time dealing with Mattis and Kelly, who I also like and have a huge respect for, who didn't like the president, thought he was incompetent and not capable of doing the job. And they thought it was their job to rein him in. McMaster said, even though he's a 3-star, telling 4 stars, and said, we're civilians now. That's not your job. Your job is not to rein in the president. Your job is give him the best advice possible and do what he said. Play this out. So if your general, who's your chief of staff, and your secretary of defense is not doing what you say on an everyday basis, he's like, I can see him going, I love generals that listened. That would be great. Right. And he's also from a world where his company is huge, but it's a family company. Mm-hmm. So when he asks Eric or somebody to do something, they do it. It's not even publicly traded. He doesn't have board members. All of a sudden, now he's like, do this. What do you mean you can't do it? Do this. What do you mean you can't do it? Right. What do you mean I'm not allowed to do it? And after a while being investigated, there were probably times where he topped off. Wouldn't it be great if generals actually listened? Right. Can you imagine if some people listened to the commander-in-chief? I could absolutely see that happening. Yeah. And why? And they know it in context. But they said, he could win. I'm going to stop him.
Right.
Yeah. So, Kilmeade, I agree with most of what he says, but he implies that Trump could have said that, but in a proper context, which is a bunch of nonsense. Yeah. But, the thing about this is they're desperate to try to get a false narrative going. And there was a news alert came on that Kamala was going to have a press conference. And I got all excited about that because I thought, wow, she must be really desperate. She's going to have a press conference is when you come out and you take questions from the press. A press conference is not coming out and reading a prepared statement,
which is what she did.
So I want to share this with you. This is Kamala. This is the so-called press conference.
Yeah.
She's talking about this Hitler stuff. Listen.
All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is. Oh, my goodness. This is a window into who Donald Trump really is. From the people who know him best, from the people who worked with him side by side in the Oval Office and in the Situation Room. And it is clear from John Kelly's words that Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one and vowed to use the military as his personal militia to carry out his personal and political vendettas. Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable.
Okay. The only thing about that is that's the first time I've seen her not totally drunk, but it was early in the day, in a while. Okay. None of what she said has Trump said that. Trump never said he was going to use the military to round up enemies. He didn't say that at all. He was talking about Antifa that burned down Washington, D.C.
She also said that Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Here's a woman who's the sitting vice president standing behind her seal, and she is saying those things about her political opponent.
That's crazy.
I mean, I have never seen something so desperate and disgusting.
Desperate's the right
politics in my life. That this is pure desperation. They know people are voting. What's going on is they've had millions of votes now. This is what's never happened before. Republicans are voting early by the millions, nationwide, in mass. This has never happened before. So they are seeing the polling, the results coming in already with the number of Republicans, And I promise you, there's Democrats voting for Trump and independents.
And the Democrat early voting is down.
Way, way down. Republican is way, way up. More Republican registrations. They see this happening. This is pure panic. Pure panic. This is their final Hail Mary, what they're going to. And let me tell you something. Americans are so sick of it's so over the top, outrageous, and so many lies have been proven to be lies. Trump is totally vindicated that this is going to not help her at all. This is only going to help Trump. I mean, it's just, it's scares me a little bit. I was talking to you about it last night, like what the reaction is going to be when he wins. It's a little frightening because she said in her interview with NBC that they have a team ready together to do what? But Trump can handle anything they throw at him. I mean, now they're basically have literally said that he is Hitler reincarnated. Have you ever heard something so freaking stupid? And you're like, they believe this. Some of them believe it and some of them don't. They just say it. John Kelly knows this is a guy who's a general. No wonder Trump fired him. He is making up these horrible lies about a president that he served under, and Trump's not supposed to fire this jerk. I mean, Trump is just so vindicated, and for her to come out and say these things about her opponent that are so vile, it really shows you that she is a person of very low moral character.
It shows a lot of
very low moral.
It shows
character.
a lot of things, mainly desperation, but it's desperation of the permanent Washington class, the deep state, and the media, and they're losing their grip. Now, I want to play this. This is the CNN story when they drop this, and they play the tape of John Kelly. So
they probably recorded last night.
Yeah, so you'll hear this tape of John Kelly, and then you hear a pause, and the girl on CNN that doesn't have any lips, the one that Trump humiliated in the town hall. Yeah, Caitlin Collins. She comes in with this fake, just shock and awe that if there was a tape of President Trump praising Hitler, that'd be a totally different thing. That would be a news story. Yeah. But a tape of John Kelly saying crap that's been debunked for going on 4 years now.
He's a known liar.
Means nothing. So anyway, my favorite part of this, though, is Caitlin Collins. Is that her name? The lipless CNN anchor rep? Okay. When she comes on and she's trying to imply with her inflections and her tone that this is like huge news that is just shocking, that should take America by storm. Listen to this. This is a total crash and burn.
Liberals have a history of making crap up.
Yeah, this is a total crash and burn of the deep state and the media trying to get a false narrative going. It's almost embarrassing. I'm almost embarrassed for them.
He commented more than once that that Hitler did some good things too, and of course, if you know history, again, I think he's lacking in that. But if you know what Hitler was all about, it'd be pretty hard to make an argument that he did anything good.
So what would you say when he said to you that Hitler did a lot of good things?
Well, I tell him that. I said, it's
so stupid.
First of all, you should never say that. But if you knew what Hitler was all about from the beginning to the end, everything he did was in support of his racist, fascist.
The guy. Oh, I hit rewind by accident, so I apologize because I got to play from the beginning here, Caitlin Collins. But this is Kelly talking to the New York Times, and the guy had asked him, "What did you say to Trump when he was praising Hitler?" Notice he doesn't tell you what he said because it never happened.
No,
and he's obviously lying. Yeah, I know. This is insane.
Once that Hitler did some good things too, and of course, if you know history, again, I think he's lacking in that. But if you know what Hitler was all about, it'd be pretty hard to make an argument that he did anything good.
So what would you say when he said to you that Hitler did a lot of good things?
Well, I tell him that. I said, first of all, you should never say that. But if you knew what Hitler was all about from the beginning to the end, everything he did was in support of his racist, fascist life, philosophy, so that nothing he did you could argue was good. It was certainly not done for the right reason. And, but he would occasionally say that.
What would he say when you would lay that out to him?
He just, that'd be the end of the conversation usually.
So this was a regular. That's not the one with Caitlin Collins, but that's okay. We don't need to hear Caitlin Collins. Now it was a regular conversation. He would sit around all the time and praise Hitler to John Kelly.
It's so ridiculous.
Is there
Jack
anybody who believes that?
said they're playing the Hitler card. They have the race card, the vagina card. Now they got the Hitler card. This is their October
Kathy,
surprise. This is their ace in the hole. Give me a break.
This is what's scary. This is the most absurd thing I've ever heard.
It is.
And these are the people that are running the country. No wonder we have over 50% inflation.
Yeah, I mean, these are people.
Stupid people.
That are so obsessed with Donald Trump. Like when Steve Garvey was debating Adam Schiff, he said, you are so obsessed with one man. You think about him the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed. Mm-hmm. He said, when do you do your job? Because all you do is spend time trying to destroy one person, and that is your whole life's goal. Obsessions are not healthy.
No.
Okay? These people are obsessed with Donald Trump and destroying him, defeating him. Everything they have done, everything has backfired on them. Everything. And they don't have the capacity, not all of them, maybe a few, to step back and be like, they are just have taken things so far.
Well, Kathy, they're scared.
It's almost laughable if it wasn't so scary.
They're scared because they're corrupt. They've been breaking the law. They've been persecuting him. They tried to kill him.
Meanwhile, Trump is smiling and at McDonald's, hanging out with people. When you juxtapose those two things, it's such a jarring contrast. You have Kamala and these people saying he's going to kill, literally, he's going to exterminate people, is what they literally
and they're the
have
ones
said.
And they've been trying to exterminate him.
And he's out there serving French fries.
See, this is what they're afraid of.
It's insane.
Obviously, our own government tried to kill President Trump. Everybody believes this.
Yeah, probably twice.
And they're afraid that they're going to get busted, arrested. Now,
many things are going to be exposed.
This is the part with Caitlin Collins I couldn't find. So you'll hear the end of Kelly, and then listen to the pause, and then CNN's Caitlin Collins trying to tell you that this is some groundbreaking bombshell.
I think we just have to take a moment and pause there to note how remarkable that is. That someone who served as a chief of staff to the former president of the United States, as a retired Marine general, is saying that the person he served meets the definition of a fascist.
Oh, my God.
Of course, that comes after we heard that the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, who was handpicked by Donald Trump, has also called him a fascist in private. Now, this is all coming as Kelly, during these interviews, is also confirming reports that Trump has made admiring statements about Hitler.
I mean, this is
okay. Brian Mast just tweeted.
Yeah.
He's a congressman from Florida.
Yep.
He's my dad's congressman, and this is his words. John Kelly is full of shit, and I have the receipts.
Okay.
So bring him, Brian.
Yeah.
Bring him. And somebody said Kamala doing that is a violation of the Hatch Act. I'm not too familiar. I know I've heard the Hatch Act. Her being behind the seal and calling him.
I don't know if it is.
I'm not too familiar with that. But now this is the Hail Mary in football. Okay, I saw Dan Marino do it so much. Is when the team is losing, they know they're going to lose, and they got like 10 seconds on the clock, and the quarterback throws it throws it and hopes somebody catches the ball. That's called a Hail Mary, and praise to God, that's why they call it a Hail Mary, that somebody catches it and gets a touchdown. So this is their Hail Mary. They got 13 days left. They got nothing. She's getting destroyed in the polling, in the voting, and they know it. They're all losing. They're freaking out, and this is all they got.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is...
Well, and this is what they think, Kathy.
It's just so bad.
This is what they think.
And she wants to run the country.
We're less than 2 weeks away from the election, although people are voting all over the country. they think that this Hitler thing is going to get a narrative going for the next week or two.
No.
I guess they're out of their minds.
Like you said, they're like running on VHS.
Yeah.
Do you think Trump should address this? I don't think he should.
No.
I think he should just...
I think he will, though.
He shouldn't, though.
Yeah, I think he will.
Unless he gets asked. He should do what he's doing. Focus on the people. Focus on the voters. Mm-hmm. He looks good. He's smiling. He's happy. And ignore it and just say, you know what? It's so stupid at this point. They're desperate. They got nothing. It's just dumb.
Now, I want to take a moment to talk about MyPillow. And of course, I know Halloween is not quite here yet, but I mean, this is the time to do your Christmas shopping. There's incredible deals going on at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. You can take advantage of all the specials at MyPillow with our promo code KANE. You know, Kathy and I guess it's been a couple months now. We got a MyPillow mattress. What's the one? It's the spring.
Yeah, with the hybrid.
The hybrid. What's the other part? Spring.
It's got like foam, but there's springs in it. It's got the best of everything.
Now there are huge discounts on the mattresses at MyPillow. We have not had a mattress with springs in it in years. I don't know if we've ever had one since we've been married. I don't know, but it's been a long time since we have, and I'm in shock at how amazing this spring mattress is from MyPillow. I don't know how the mattress technology works with the springs, but it has lumbar support. It actually has lumbar support in the mattress.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's really nice.
I don't know how that works. I don't know how it's possible. I don't know, but Mike Lindell does, and it's great. There's great deals on the MyPillow mattress. Comes in every mattress size too. So if you need a mattress, get it. And of course, the MyPillow with our promo code KANE at checkout is just $14.88. $14.88. That's normally $49.98. So that's a huge deal with our promo code KANE at checkout. Also, free shipping on orders over $75 with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE at MyPillow.com. We're going to take our break and be right back.
Are you looking for ways to make extra money or promote your side hustle? The Side Hustle Network will help you do all that and more. In today's world, side hustles are essential for financial stability as well as independence. Side hustles offer a way to earn extra income, explore new skills, and pursue your passion. The Side Hustle Network is a vibrant community of entrepreneurs and side hustlers just like you who share their tips, resources, and success stories. Whether you're just starting out or scaling an existing business, you'll find like-minded people ready to inspire and support your journey. Visit thatAmericanDreamerGuy.com. Click the link to join, connect, grow, and make your side hustle thrive. And don't forget to post your side hustle so you can let the world know what you're up to. The Side Hustle Network, where passion meets profit. Online at thatAmericanDreamerGuy.com. How would you like to brighten up someone's day? Then check out theluxexpress.etsy.com. That's Lux, spelled L-U-X-X. The Lux Express specialize in hilarious mugs, cups, t-shirts, totes, beach bags, wine tumblers, wall art, and so much more. The Lux Express are all about making the world a happier place, and they're doing it one smile at a time. Whether you're in the mood for a good laugh, a little motivation, or some inspiration, they have something for everyone. They also accept custom orders, so you can create that perfect gift. And make sure to stop by for your holiday shopping too. Use the promo code Brian and save 15% off your order. TheLuxExpress.etsy.com. That's Lux, L-U-X-X. Funny, motivational, and inspirational products. TheLuxExpress.etsy.com. If you're a cat lover, you know the struggle. Keeping your furry friends from scratching up your furniture can feel like a full-time job, but not anymore, thanks to the Cat Scratcher from CatScratcherGuy.com. Unlike those flimsy cardboard scratchers that fall apart and leave a mess, these durable cat scratchers are built to last. They're perfect for protecting your furniture and keeping your cat's claws healthy. Use the promo code Brian at checkout and receive 20% off your order. Plus, enjoy shipping for just $3 on any order. Say goodbye to scratched up furniture and hello to happy, healthy cats with CatScratcherGuy.com. Protect your home and treat your cat today. That's CatScratcherGuy.com. And don't forget, use the promo code Brian and save 20%. CatScratcherGuy.com. It's that time of year again, Christmas shopping time, and there's no better place to find unique, personalized gifts than ActicFoxMarket.com. They're your go-to Etsy shop for custom gifts, home decor, accessories, and so much more. Whether you're shopping for a loved one, a coworker, or just looking for something special to give yourself, Arctic Fox Market on Etsy has you covered. They have everything from cozy apparel to custom accessories. You'll find something for everyone, and they're veteran-owned and operated, based out of Texas. Use the promo code FAV25 and save 25% off your entire purchase. They also have fast, free shipping inside the United States. Start shopping right now at ArcticFoxMarket.com and start crossing those names off your Christmas gift-giving list. Unique personal gifts delivered right to your door. ArcticFoxMarket.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
I wanted to say about one last thing about this Hitler thing is, the only people that this will resonate with are people that just hate Donald Trump and are not going to vote for him at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's falling on deaf ears. They're really hoping. By the way, Hitler killed 80 million people or something.
To include all the Russians and everybody in the war, yeah.
Trump stopped all the wars. He saved lives. Look at all the babies he saved with Roe v. Wade. Trump saves lives. He doesn't destroy lives. So they're the ones who like abortion, which is a genocide. They're the ones who have 3 wars going on right now that they're funding, basically funding wars that cause death and destruction. So, think about that. There's no comparison to Trump and Hitler at all. He's never said anything about that. But it's only going to, the people that are independent or that are not, I think people know by now who they're voting for, and they've made up their mind.
There's no such thing as an undecided voter in this right now.
Certainly not now.
The only person that would tell you they're undecided is a narcissist who wants you to beg them for their vote. There are some of those sociopaths out there, but everyone's decided.
The deep state is in a panic. Basically, they're just in a panic right now.
They're all in a panic because they broke into his house, they shot him, they've arrested him, they got these crooked judges. They've been going after this guy for 9 years, and the last 3.5, they've had the whole federal government after him in all kinds of crazy ways. Merrick Garland, all this stuff, and Jack Smith, and they've seen the internal polls, so they know it's done, and they're scared. And if you were listening to me on the morning show today, got calls from a lot of liberals. They were all unhinged. Greg too got banned from the show today because he did something really bad. I'm not going to repeat. If you were listening live, you heard it. But he did something that he knew, and I even said to him, "What's the one taboo on this show?" And he said it, and I said, "Then why'd you do it?" He was trying to get banned. He's unglued, and there were others. The last call of the day was that Never Trumper Steve guy that calls me all the time. He was insanely hysterical, where he wasn't even putting together. I was trying to tell him he's on the air. I took his call, and we were up against a break. And I was trying to tell him, hey, listen, we got to take a break. I'm going to put you on hold. He started screaming at me. Then he came back unhinged after that. They know what is happening. And everything they've done for the last 9 years has
And how come
failed.
John Kelly never said this before? And he's just saying it now? That it was so shocking to him what Trump said that he waited 5 years to tell everybody.
Well,
it's so ridiculous.
I want to talk a little bit about this thing with Tulsi Gabbard because I got a call from a lady this morning on the show, and she says, "Well, why didn't she just become a Republican? Why'd she do this independent thing for a while?" And Tulsi Gabbard came out last night, surprised President Trump, and said she's becoming a Republican right now. And I think there's a good chance Trump makes her his Secretary of Defense, and she very well could be J.D. Vance's running mate in 4 years. I mean, she's definitely positioning herself to run for president. And a lot of people say, well, she was a Democrat. Trump used to be a Democrat. Ronald Reagan used to be a Democrat, right. Okay? And those were the 2 greatest we've had. So the thing with Tulsi Gabbard, why did she become an independent as opposed to just going Republican. She is a lifelong Democrat, born and raised in Hawaii, where Obama says that he's from. She's been brought up in that. She was a member of Congress, a Democrat member of Congress. And when someone is a Democrat their entire life, it's not easy for them to just all of a sudden say, I'm a Republican. She became an independent because she just couldn't get herself to say it. It took her a while to be able to get up the guts to say. I used this analogy this morning. Did you hear me do this, Kathy? You maybe not heard this. And maybe this was a bad analogy, okay? But Elton John and Boy George from Culture Club are both gay. In the 80s, though, they didn't say they were gay. I saw Elton John on Phil Donahue. When Phil Donahue asked him if he was gay, he said he was bisexual. He wasn't.
In fact, he actually got married, like Rock Hudson. They both had married women.
He was never bisexual. He was gay. He just didn't have the guts to say it yet. Boy George was interviewed. I think it was Barbara Walters, and he said the same thing, that he was bisexual. That guy was gay from his whole life. But they weren't comfortable enough saying they were gay, so they did this bisexual thing, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because they couldn't get themselves to say it. Wasn't acceptable. That's kind of what Tulsi Gabbard did. She just couldn't get herself to come out as a Republican yet, because her whole world has been in this Democrat world, but she wanted to do it for a while. And a lot of people say, well, you said never trust a never Trumper, and she was very radical on these things. If you go back and watch last night when she came out, there are two things you got to look for with Trump. Look at Trump's face and body language when she makes the announcement. He had no idea. He was in shock.
Yeah.
And then when he came out and talked about it, when she was done talking, he came back to the podium. You could tell he was moved by that, and he knows her personally. So never trust a never Trumper unless they have the blessing and approval of Donald Trump, because he's in their inner circle. And if you don't trust Trump, you're not MAGA.
Look, J.D. Vance was a never Trumper.
Yeah.
He even himself said Trump was Hitler, and he addressed that. America's Hitler, he called him. He said, I was believing what the media was telling me. And I didn't know him personally, and I believed the lies. You know, he was a pundit for CNN and for a while before he became a senator. And he said, I believe the lies they told me, and now I know that's not true. So you have to understand that redemption is possible for everybody and be open to that and move on. And
well, you know what happens a lot of times?
I think that's important to know.
Tulsi Gabbard is going through something like Ed Norton in American History X. She was raised a Democrat her whole life, and then she's in Congress and she's on the inside, and then Trump comes along and she sees what they're really about. Ed Norton, you know, in American History X, was a vile white supremacist, and he believed all that crap, and he went to prison and saw that they were just fake and saw what it was really, and he had, you know, sometimes.
Well, and the black guy was working with him in the kitchen, and I think saved his life. Yeah. The black guys were going to kill him, and he saved his life.
Well, no, but he saw what they were really all about. And you know,
that too.
What's happened with Tulsi Gabbard is she's like born again.
I mean, I just can't get over Kamala coming out from the White House in front of the podium and saying something so vile
about
her opponent.
It's terrible.
And then Biden yesterday said, we got to lock him up. Obviously, it's a witch hunt. It's been and if you don't believe that, you should know that by now.
Yeah.
I don't understand people. All I think is that they're blinded by hate. And I think people like Bill Maher is a very smart guy, and he's a very funny guy. I like him. And if you listen to him, he sounds like somebody who likes Trump, but he is afraid to go there. He is just afraid to go there because he doesn't want to lose his job. And he doesn't want to lose his Hollywood friends. Just like Snoop Dogg, who I really don't care about. But Snoop Dogg is attacking Trump. He's an F in this, F in that. Snoop Dogg is all in with the Hamptons crowd. He's best friends with Martha Stewart. He has all these huge endorsements. He's making more money than ever. I mean, he was a correspondent for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Okay? You think he's going to screw that up by he's only attacking Trump because it helps his bottom line in Hollywood. That's all it is. Most people, and Trump talks about this, attack him because somebody's paying them to do it.
Yeah.
Because they're getting a benefit out of it. And they figure, well, you know, Trump's not going to be in office forever. are around forever. So, if somebody wants to pay me 50 G's, I can buy a new car or put a down payment on a house. Why not? That is what is going on here, okay? Or it's personal. Like with Mark Cuban, I don't know what his deal is, and I don't know why all of a sudden he's all in with Kamala and supposed to be her financial expert and interviewing her and all this stuff. Because a long time ago, Trump sent him a letter that kind of insulted him a little bit, and he's upset about it, and that's what his motivation is. So all these people have their own motivation. They don't care about the country. They just want to destroy this man, no matter what it takes. And for her to say that should tell you everything you need to know about her as a person.
Mm-hmm.
She's a despicable human being.
Oh, yeah.
To come out and
No
say
doubt.
something like that. And she's basically calling everybody that votes for him a Nazi. Basically, if you voted for Trump, she's basically saying if you vote for this man, you're supporting a Nazi, so you're Nazis too. I mean, what a stupid thing to do.
The thing about all that's going on this week, Friday is the Joe Rogan interview with Trump. Kamala Harris has refused to do a Joe Rogan interview. And, this is important for people to understand. The reach of Joe Rogan is larger than people realize. Joe Rogan, on a regular week, not even a big week when he's having Donald Trump on, right? On a regular week, just a normal week that doesn't have any exciting news in it, just Joe Rogan doing whatever he does in a regular week. He has more people that listen to his show than Rush Limbaugh and Howard Stern had combined at the peak of their ratings, okay? That's crazy.
What do you think he's going to talk to him about?
I don't know, but I hope that Rogan asks tough questions. I don't want him to ask him softball questions.
Well, he's not very bright.
Joe Rogan?
No,
he's
not. I've seen a few of his shows, and he's not very intelligent at all. So I think they'll talk a lot about MMA.
You think so?
Fighting. Well, he's into all that.
That's a waste.
They've seen each other. This is what I'm just guessing. I'm sure he'll ask him a few things that everybody's asked. I like that he's doing these shows that apparently his son Barron is recommending, like Vaughn and all these guys, because they're asking him, and Patrick Bet-David too, different stuff. When he was on Gutfeld, he's doing these other interviews where you're learning a little bit more. And when Tyrus interviewed him, that was great too. So I'm hoping Joe Rogan asks something. What are you going to do about the border? I mean, I'm glad Trump's answering those questions, but he's answered that question 50 times, like this month. So ask him other things about him as a person. I would ask him more personal things like, how do you do you go home every night after your rallies? Do you have dinner with your family? What do you do on the weekends? Just to kind of make him, like, just people get to know him a little bit better.
We know all the policy stuff already.
Right, talk about a little bit about some of the good things he's done for people that you never hear about because he doesn't brag about it, okay? Like helping people with their mortgages or giving money to certain charities or
Kathy,
you know what I mean?
Though
Nobody talks about that stuff.
It very well, because, it's just a couple days away, it very well could be Joe Rogan doing nothing but talking about this Kelly Hitler crap. I could see that happening, and
Trump will just shut that down.
That would be such a waste for Joe Rogan to get into that stupid
What
crap.
do you think he's going to ask him? Because
There's
I just
no
don't
way-
think he's
there's no way to
capable
know.
of doing an insightful interview.
I'm not that impressed with him.
No.
But, he's very
He's no
popular.
Tucker Carlson.
No. Oh, man, no. This would be a good time for Tucker to do a new interview with him because so much has happened. It's, listen, it's tough to do I think an interview with Trump is tough because he's the most interviewed person and he's been asked so many things. But
I would just ask more, do a little research and ask some more personal things than just what everybody always asks.
But, this is, he's going to win. The only thing we have going against us is if there's overconfidence and we don't get a turnout. But I've been driving by, we've had early voting going on in Florida since last week, and I drive by a couple of the polling locations on the way home from the radio station in the morning, and they've been packed. The early voting is just insanely large.
The problem they're having, too, is Trump has all these iconic images. This McDonald's thing was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
There were so many. I put a bunch of them in the Patreon. There were so many cool memes and GIFs made with that visit alone, with him in the apron with the red tie. Like my daughter said, he looked like SpongeBob. There were so many. Like I sent you a picture of the picture after he got shot with his hand in the air. Somebody put a McDonald's bag in his hand. It was hilarious. There are so many things. He has so many iconic images, and the attention span of people, especially young people, is so short. I mean, if you watch TikTok or any of these things, I mean, it's short. The attention span is like 2 minutes.
Not even.
And if they're not engaged in that time, and I look at his TikTok, and it's very like up to date and very much what like the young people like. But all these images are burned in people's brains, like the image of him with his hand in the air after he got shot, down on the ground with the blood, the image of him with working at the McDonald's, his mugshot. There's all these iconic Kamala has none of this stuff.
No.
She has no iconic images that are burned in people's memories or minds.
Well, Willie Brown, those images.
No. But she hasn't done anything.
No, nothing.
Where you're like, wow, like I'm going to remember that. Maybe other than her laughing and falling down like she's had a lot to drink. Other than that, nothing positive. But Trump has all these amazing images from this year that really have resonated with people. And I don't know, he just is more popular than ever. It's just crazy. And these young people really are stepping up. And I really, please, if you're evangelical Christian and you don't like to vote or for whatever reason, please vote. Please vote. You cannot let Kamala win. Just please do it. Or if you don't like Trump, like I've said before, that does not matter. Nobody knows who you're voting for in the voting booth. Just go in there and punch the name that you think is the best. She cannot run this country. She's a disaster.
No.
I mean, you really think this woman is going to... It is so frightening to me what's going to happen to the world if this woman wins.
One thing I don't get...
She's a cackling moron.
One thing I don't get, President Trump's talked about this a lot, how so few evangelicals vote, and that just blows my mind. I don't really know what that's about.
Well, I don't either. I leave a comment. He's doing a thing in Atlanta today with Ralph Reed was there. Is that his name?
Ralph Reed used to run the Christian Coalition, and it's not because we don't have these Christian leaders like we used to. I think a lot of
Franklin Graham was with him the other day.
Yeah, I think a lot of evangelicals just think that they're above the politics, don't have anything to do with it. But you're wrong about that. These are very evil, demonic people. President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade.
You have to vote.
And has cut down the number of abortions to just a minute number that they used to be. Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. And remember, Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of each and every episode of the podcast. Our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you on each and every program. So the names you'll hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P., Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, Christy R., and John S. These are our top Patreon supporters. All right, we're going to take our last break. There's a lot more to cover. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Mike Lindell is offering wholesale pricing for Christmas. The standard MyPillow, just $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. That's right, just $14.88. And free shipping on orders over $75. So go to MyPillow.com right now and use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, and get the standard MyPillow for just $14.88. The lowest price ever. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE. How would you like to brighten up someone's day? Then check out theluxexpress.etsy.com. That's Lux, spelled L-U-X-X. The Lux Express specialize in hilarious mugs, cups, t-shirts, totes, beach bags, wine tumblers, wall art, and so much more. The Lux Express are all about making the world a happier place, and they're doing it one smile at a time. Whether you're in the mood for a good laugh, a little motivation, or some inspiration, they have something for everyone. They also accept custom orders, so you can create that perfect gift. And make sure to stop by for your holiday shopping too. Use the promo code Brian and save 15% off your order. TheLuxExpress.etsy.com. That's Lux, L-U-X-X. Funny, motivational, and inspirational products. TheLuxExpress.etsy.com. How would you like to escape into a world of fantasy and fun? Then add Creatures and Cantrips to your podcast playlist. Creatures and Cantrips brings epic adventures and mythical creatures to life. Whether you're a pro at tabletop RPGs or just starting out, they've got the dice, the characters, and the magical quest to spark your imagination. Join Creatures and Cantrips as they journey through fantastical lands, weaving stories that are filled with daring heroes, mysterious creatures, and unforgettable moments. When the quest is over, stick around for Tavern Talks. It's the perfect way to unwind after a thrilling adventure. Creatures and Cantrips is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you get your podcast. Share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Adventure, fantasy, laughter, and all things nerdy. Creatures and Cantrips. Tune in right now. Do you have a fear of public speaking? You're not alone, but you can overcome your anxiety. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find in the new book from YouTube creator and Udemy bestseller, Jessica Johns. Public Speaking for Influencers. Discover your influencer style. Available on Amazon. With Public Speaking for Influencers, you'll discover which of the 5 influencer types you are, so you can overcome your fears and become a powerful, confident speaker. Whether you're speaking in front of a crowd, on camera, or during that important work presentation, Public Speaking for Influencers will help you create a clear plan to elevate your skills and boost your influence. Are you ready to master your voice and unlock the potential inside of you? Then order your copy of Public Speaking for Influencers. Discover your influencer style on Amazon. Available in Kindle and Kindle Unlimited. Step up, speak out, make your voice heard, and overcome your fears of public speaking and be a confident, powerful public speaker with Public Speaking for Influencers. Discover your influencer style on Amazon.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. So the Trump campaign issued an official statement on Kamala and her thing. Here's the headline. Trump campaign statement on Kamala Harris lying and losing. That's the headline of the press release. Kamala Harris is a stone-cold loser who is increasingly desperate because she is flailing and her campaign is in shambles. That is why she continues to peddle outright lies and falsehoods that are easily disproven. The fact is that Kamala's dangerous rhetoric is directly to blame for the multiple assassination attempts against President Trump, and she continues to stoke the flames of violence, all in the name of politics. She is despicable, and her grotesque behavior proves she is wholly unfit for office. And this is Stephen Chung. He's the Trump campaign communications director who signed that. Well, this thing about what they talked about, the assassination attempts, okay? President Trump, everybody knows, was shot. The other guy at the golf course. You know, when you're going around telling everyone this person's a threat to democracy and Hitler and they're about to become president,
it's almost like a call to action.
Exactly.
What she did today.
It is reckless.
So on CNN, they had another disgruntled former employee, Mark Esper. I never heard of him. He said, I've never heard Trump say anything like what John Kelly is outlining.
And he hates Trump, by the way. Mark Esper has not been a fan of Trump's at all.
Let me play the clip here. Hold on.
He was the defense secretary.
Personnel in a derogatory fashion. No, not along the lines that John Kelly and others have outlined.
Okay.
Yeah, but no. But he's been critical of Trump for years now, Esper, and even he says,
that was his way of kind of saying, no, it's not true. He can't come out and fully, emphatically, oh, not along those lines, meaning no.
Well, see, this is what they're really afraid of. What President Trump has done with the Republican Party is astounding. When he first left office, they were trying to get him to start a third party, and he didn't. And he's taken over and reformed the entire Republican Party and made it a MAGA party. And what they're afraid of is, Trump, he's only got one term left, but they're afraid of this MAGA movement now that is out there that they can't stop. And these deep staters and the establishment people are done.
Her plan is, and she has said this in multiple interviews, is to make all these illegals citizens, have a very quick pathway to citizenship, aka so they can vote and all this. And they have allowed all these people to come in, 20 million, 21 million people over the last 3 years with that purpose in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's all falling apart because once Trump is in, that's not going to happen. They're going to all be deported. And all of this would have been for nothing in their eyes. Like, we can't let this happen. This is their plan all along. He's mucking everything up for them. But you know what? God has a bigger plan. And Trump even says, I know God has a plan for me now. And he has faith. I feel like he's always been a person of faith. He talked about how his dad, used to take him to church, and his mom took him to church every Sunday. And he talked about pastors he's seen. And you can do that, but that doesn't mean you feel that faith or you feel like you're destined for a purpose. And I think up until now, I'm not saying this to sound mean, but I think Trump really feels like the Holy Spirit, truly feels it in him, maybe for the first time. And that's okay. Sometimes it takes a while, and something might have to happen drastic for you to feel that. And I see a calmness in him. He doesn't get triggered like he used to or rattled like he used to by the media. He's just whatever. You know what I mean? He's just more chill. He's got more chill now. And that might come with age, but all these people and the more chill he is.
I think it comes with the urgency.
The more chill he is,
on the line here.
The more crazy they look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you've had this on the radio, and you always tell me that you don't like, and Brian doesn't really have a bad temper. He really doesn't. He's pretty mild-mannered. But you always tell me, I don't like to lose my cool on the radio because then I look like an idiot, and then the person will start to be calm, and then I look like the ranting, raving lunatic. And that's what's happening here. Trump's got chill. He's got a higher purpose. I mean, he's not, you can see it in his face, in his affect, in the way he carries himself now. He's just like, he's not even thinking about these people right now. He's so far above this at this point where it's not rattling him one bit. You know what I mean? He's just flying right over it.
Now,
and they look crazy.
Kamala's given up on Pennsylvania, and she's doing everything in Michigan with Whitmer. That's why she's spending so much time in Detroit. This thing that they got going on, Make America Detroit, who thinks that was a good idea? I mean, that's the dumbest thing.
Nobody.
But I was watching Gretchen Whitmer. I'm not going to play any sound bites of this guy, so you watch it online. I was watching Gretchen Whitmer at this Kamala thing, where it's the one where Eminem came out for 1 minute and 20 seconds. I was surprised how low class she is. I haven't really heard her speak too much, since the lockdown periods when she was in her little office with the Fauci pillow behind her. I haven't heard her speak in a long time. She's really a trashy person, very low class. She seemed intoxicated. But even if we did not win Michigan, which we're going to win Michigan. Remember, he won Michigan in 2016, President Trump, remember? We're going to win Michigan. But even if we didn't, we still have the electoral votes.
Yeah, she's done like 2 or 3 events in Detroit this week.
Mm-hmm.
She's given up on Pennsylvania, I think.
See, this is the thing. This early voting that's going on around the country, that's all Laura Trump. Laura Trump and the RNC under her leadership. I know there's a real guy but he's a figurehead. She really is running the show. She has gotten this early voting thing out. And this is such a great thing because, we talk about this a lot. the Democrats' entire strategy has been for years early voting, right? Their early voting is not just down, it's way down. The lowest points in decades early voting turnout for Democrats nationwide. Republicans is at the highest level ever in history early voting.
Well, that's why they're breaking out.
The Democrats' entire election strategy is based on early voting. So on election day, they're millions of votes ahead, and we're trying to catch up in a race on one day. That's gone now. They've lost their entire early voting advantage that they've always had.
Did you hear this story that came out yesterday that McDonald's had an E. coli scare?
Oh, please. Was that the location with Trump? He brought it with him?
Talk about timing. But I'm a little upset because one of my favorite actors in the world said that Donald Trump is laughing at you. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are laughing at you behind your back. Who said that? Michael Keaton.
Why is he getting involved in politics?
He is one of my favorite actors. I've loved him since Mr. Mom, Night Shift. He is so funny.
Bachelor Party.
No, that was Tommy Hanks.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Michael Keaton is
what was his other comedy?
The first movie he did, I think, was Night Shift.
Yes.
He also, I read,
like Pacific Heights.
Worked on Mr. Rogers. He ran the trolley on Mr. Rogers'
That's
Neighborhood.
Exactly right. Yes, he did.
He is so funny. Mr. Mom, Gung Ho. I have loved him.
Gung Ho is awesome.
Been a fan of his forever.
I love Gung Ho.
Beetlejuice, all the stuff. Batman. I still think he's the best Batman, even though it was not conventional.
Yeah. After Adam West.
Why do these actors have to do this? Why does he have to come out and be so mean and say things that Trump and Elon are laughing at you behind your back? And he really believes that. That is just,
Kathy, you know what
the Democrats are just getting mean and they're just getting so desperate.
It shows you what a great actor he is, and it's just like,
what a disappointment.
And I'll tell you, I'm sorry he did that. Because the new Beetlejuice is going to be free any day on HBO.
Look, I know they don't like Trump.
Now I don't want to watch it,
but I don't need to hear it.
Keep your mouth shut. Shut up and act.
You're talking about him, not me.
Yeah. It's like, how do you think I feel about Mark Hamill? He destroys Star Wars. He looks like Charles Nelson Riley out there, Mark Hamill.
I'm so upset about it.
Yeah, I know.
Because I always love Michael Keaton.
And, Michael Keaton, what he's done is stupid because I've always liked Michael Keaton, too. He's a
great actor.
Very good in Pacific Heights, Jackie Brown, the Tarantino movie. Good. And with this new Beetlejuice, he's getting his career back. In fact, they're doing another Batman with him, right? And I don't know if it's gotten the green light yet. I've heard talk about it.
He had a cameo in the Flash movie.
It was more than a cameo. He was in
the Flash movie. Yeah,
and I'll tell you, I'm not interested in that Flash movie, but I watched it because I wanted to see Michael Keaton in it. And with this new Beetlejuice, he's like getting his career back, and then he comes out and does something so stupid.
Why can't he just say something like? First, he came out and wore a T-shirt that had like "vote" all over it in blue. And was like, make sure you vote. I'm like, okay, obviously he's a Harris supporter, but that's fine. I mean, we have Dennis Quaid. We have celebrities too. But to say something so nasty and mean that Trump and Elon are laughing at you, you go to he said, you go to their rallies and they leave the stage and laugh behind your back. That is not true. I mean, here you have Trump that goes to people's funerals that he doesn't even know. Okay? And there's so many things about this guy they don't know that he doesn't brag about, he doesn't talk about, and they say things like that. That really upsets me.
Well,
you're right. It's hard to watch their movies now.
This is the thing about actors. It's best not to get to know celebrities. I used to spend a lot of time meeting celebrities and hanging out with celebrities, and rarely are you not disappointed.
Who is the one that disappointed you the most? Because I know you've met a lot of
Well, you know
actors.
that one. You know that one. Don't get me started about Loretta Swit. From MASH.
Well, yeah, but other than her, that was a long time ago.
That was the nastiest experience I ever had.
You said you met Dick Clark, and he was very nasty.
After Loretta Swit, Dick Clark was the nastiest celebrity I've ever met. These are low-level celebrities, but they were big.
Not Dick Clark. He was pretty big.
Well, when I met him, he was a big star. He had the Blooper and Practical Joke Show with that big band, so he was on top of the world.
The New Year's Eve parties.
I've met a lot of celebrities, and in fact,
who disappointed you the most? I know
Loretta Swit.
Really?
Yeah, because
you were that big of a fan?
I was a big fan of MASH, and I used to love that show, and I can't watch it anymore. I can't
Isn't
watch
that
MASH because
awful?
all I think
They
about is
ruin it
how
for
nasty
you.
she was. But in fact, I'm not going to tell you what this is, but Kathy will vouch for me. She knows. I got invited to a major celebrity event that is going on today that I didn't go to. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I really don't like hanging out with celebrities, and maybe and I was invited to a celebrity event that is going to be starting just in a few minutes from now, and I didn't go to it. I just don't like it.
Who was the most that you've met? Who was like the best experience for you?
Of all the celebrities, I don't know. I've had so many good experience. I don't know. I can't. I don't have an answer. I'll think about it. I'll tell you in the next podcast.
Was it William Shatner? I know you met William Shatner. Mel Gibson.
Oh, Mel Gibson. That was the. This will sound crazy.
Like who was the you walked away like that was the best experience?
Now this was before Trump and before he started trashing Trump. This was a long time ago. But I met Mark Hamill once.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal to me at the time.
That would be a big deal.
And Mark Hamill was so nice to me and gracious to me and complimented me in all kinds of ways.
Well, now he'd spit in your face.
Now I'd have a MAGA hat on and he wouldn't be so complimentary.
I mean, you met Bruce Jenner, you've met Eric Estrada, you've met a lot
I've met a lot of famous people, many
You're
more.
lucky. I haven't met anybody.
Mostly science fiction celebrities. But the thing that I got invited to that I didn't go to that's starting in a few minutes, that has a lot of very famous A-list people that I didn't go to. I don't know. I find it best not to meet your heroes and
that's what
people
I think
you're
Dolly
fans
Parton
of.
said. Be careful meeting your heroes. A lot of people have said that.
Yeah.
But I would love to meet Trump. I think it'd be a great experience.
Yeah.
That's the one
I'll tell you this,
I'd love
though.
to meet.
I'll tell you this. You know, in 2 weeks from today, Trump's going to be president-elect. And when Kamala said to that Haley girl on NBC News that she has teams of people for after the election.
Yeah, that's scary.
That means she plans on contesting the results.
Yeah, good luck.
So a couple things about that. One, that is her conceding defeat already. She wouldn't be setting up teams to contest if she thought she was going to win. She's not going to contest her victory, right? So she is conceding defeat. That's number one. And I thought that was kind of clever. No one's really picked up on that, but that's what that is. And
but when I heard that, I thought, well, what are they planning here? Like they're obviously conceding
Nothing.
he's planning
It'll
something
fizzle.
Because, the best plans, what are they? That's the expression. Just because they plan it doesn't mean it's going to happen. They fantasize these people. They're demented. Obviously, they've realized Trump's going to win big time here, bigly. In their mind, what do they think they can do once he's elected to stop him from getting inaugurated?
I don't think it's in anyone's mind. I think it's only Kamala and her husband amongst themselves fantasizing because, like in 2000 in the with the Florida recount, that thing with Bush and Gore went on over a month, right? But there was only one state. If they could swing the one, whoever got Florida won, right?
Yeah.
This isn't going to be that, okay? This isn't going to be like one state will decide everything. He's ahead in all the battleground states.
Well, he is focusing
I don't think there are teams. I think this is just her and her husband.
You think so?
Talking amongst themselves while they're drinking wine.
A veiled threat.
And taking the CBD gummies.
Trump is really focusing on the states that were an issue.
Yeah, okay? Georgia, North Carolina,
and the last Pennsylvania,
Michigan,
Nevada, Georgia. Okay.
Battleground states. He spent all his time in battleground states.
Exactly.
And another thing he's done
which is smart.
This campaign's been totally different than all of them. But if you notice, he hasn't been doing as many rallies. He's been doing more of these town halls.
More intimate.
And these interviews with people he would not normally do interviews with a different audience. Now, I was talking this morning on the radio, you guys may have heard, is one of our listeners, Pastor Trevor, who lives in Vero Beach, Florida, got hit by Milton. And he has Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting and Roofing doing his roof work in Vero Beach. If you are in the state of Florida and you have damage from the hurricane or just the regular rainy season that we're in, you need roof repair or a roof replacement, call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. He'll never sell you a roof you don't need. He's the only roofer I've ever heard make such a claim. He's a good MAGA guy, and he's not just a roofer, he's a contractor. And in the state of Florida, because he's a contractor, that allows him to deal directly with your insurance company on the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof, which speeds things up a lot. You can find him online at laportaroofing.com, but I'm going to give you his cell phone number. The cell phone number is not on his website. The cell phone number is only for those of you who listen to me on the podcast, on YouTube, or on the radio, okay? This is not the number that everybody else gets. And when you call, make sure you mention, I told you about him. Please, his cell phone number, you can call or text, but you should call. But you can text if you don't want to call. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. For Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. All right, well, we're out of time. We will be back next time.
One last thing I want to add.
What else?
Theo Vaughn just bet $125,000 on Trump winning.
Theo Vaughn's got that much money?
Well, that's a big bet. So what does that tell you?
He can afford to bet that kind of money?
I guess so. Just drop it like a $20 bill.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't realize. I knew he was big, but that's a lot of money.
A lot of people are placing bets on Trump.
My gosh.
Now,
I'm underpaid.
What do they call it with when you rank up higher in the betting pool? What is that called? I'm not a gambler.
I have no idea.
You know.
The betting odds?
Steve, your odds. Yeah, the odds. The odds are way up for Trump now. So all these big YouTube guys and young Kane, guys are placing all their bets now.
Steve Kane has a lot of money on the election.
Oh, I'd love to know how much.
He won't tell me how much he's bet, which tells me it's a lot because he usually tells me it's a lot.
What would your guess be?
I'm not going to speculate on the show. I'm not even going to speculate.
Yeah, Brian and I don't gamble. We've been to the casino a handful of times and played the slots, but that's it.
No, I'm not into gambling. I'm not into gambling at all. All right, listen, we're out of time. We will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host